Proverbs chapter 16, verse 16 says that having wisdom and understanding is better than having silver or gold. Nice and expensive, can be enjoyable, but there are very few things in life that can never be taken away, will never go out of style, and that truly make you a better person. And education is one of those things. Society is ever changing. We have to cope with the change and also to intelligently carve a desired way to prepare ourselves for future. Education is the oldest and biggest enterprise of man. In terms of manpower, engaged, or number of human beings involved in its pursuit. With and to ensure harmonious, complete, and all-round development, it can therefore never be unplanned and aimless venture or purposeful activity. To think of why and how of education before we actually go in, for it is a prerequisite. Education without proper and well-defined aims, objectives, goals, and motives is quite unthinkable. No educator can dare talk of education without mention of its goals, aim, purpose, or objectives. An education without the knowledge of aims, objectives, and goals of education is like a sailor navigating a ship without the knowledge of destination and the route. So, aims are a must for education and need to be laid down explicitly. Education is a purposeful and ethical activity, and each activity as aspect has some aim before it. So, there is a close relationship between an activity and its aim. An aim is a conscious purpose, which we set before us, while launching upon an activity, just like that education is also unthinkable without aims. If there are no aims, the educational process would not take place, because an aim is a predetermined goal which inspires the activity of education. If the aims all clear, definite, and meaningful, then the activity will go on till the end. Goal is achieved. An aim is a foreseen end that gives direction to an activity or motivates behavior. Aims are guidelines in the educational process like the sun. Aims illumine our life. The ignorance of right aims will spoil the whole educational. According to Encyclopedia, modern education is purposeful, ethical activity, hence it is unthinkable without aims. We cannot proceed in any walk of life without aim. For achieving success in activity of life, clear and well-defined aim is essential. An educator without the knowledge of aims can be compared to a sailor who does not know his destination. This means that a system of education which is not clear about its or which has undesirable ends is bound to fail. Aims give foresight to the educational planner. All our methods of teaching Our curriculum and our system of evaluation are shaped and molded according to our aim of education. It is the ignorance of right aims that has vitiated our educational system, its methods, and its products, and has successfully resulted in the physical, intellectual, and moral weaknesses of the race. There is a great necessity of aims in education because of the following reasons. Educational aims help us to evaluate ourselves. They used to take stock of the results of our effort. The aim is a yardstick with which we can measure our success and failure. They are necessary to assess our outcome of the educational process. We as educators carefully evaluate the existence, conditions, that is, contents of education, methods of teaching, efficiency of teaching, library equipment, planning of curricular and co-curricular activities in the light of our objective, and plan for the future. Aims of education are always influenced by the philosophy of life of the people of that country. For example, idealistic philosophy lays down different aims like education for self-realization. Pragmatists have not faith in any fixed aim of education. The philosophy prevailing in the life of the people is reflected in the aims of education of that country. 7 misconceptions of education. First, for more learning, give more homework. Students don't care about learning. Teachers work less and get paid. Small classes provide better education. Schools mean more fees. Covering it means teaching it. Some subjects are useless in real life. For more learning, give more homework. Well, homework forms an essential part of studies. For school students and projects for college students, homework is simply a revision or practice of whatever has been taught in the classroom. An additional hour of studying will not have noticeable impact in students. They already spend half the day in class learning, which should be enough learning for the day. If kids do not play and enjoy their childhood, they will not be able to enjoy studying in classrooms too. Without this enjoyment, there will be no real engagement and learning will not be achieved. Hence, it becomes imperative to mark a separate time for studying and other activities. Next, students don't care about learning. Parents compete among themselves, especially mothers, to see whose kid comes first in the class. This leads to them putting unnecessary pressure on kids. If the kid does not perform well, the pressure impacts the self-esteem of these kids adversely. Students care about learning new things and aim to top the class. They generally make a sincere effort in studying and scoring well. It is parents who fail to either understand them or pay enough attention. Only when a student finds the task invincible that he shifts his focus away from it and focuses on something else. It is the responsibility of parents and teachers to support students in understanding the subjects and learn efficiently. They should not just point to the poor performance or pressure them to get good scores. Teachers work less and get paid more. A teacher plays a major role in nation building. Through their efforts on students, the task requires a lot of subtlety in understanding the psychology of a child and handling him accordingly. The task looks simple enough from outside, but try spending a day in her kindergarten and you will know the challenges. The subtle work of teachers has to be done in parallel with providing subject knowledge, which itself is a big challenge. As per research, teachers make more than 1,300 decisions in one day, and teaching is one of the most cognitively demanding works. They are second to air traffic controllers, which explains everything. The value of a teacher's work should not be considered from the hours they spend in school, but the result they provide to society. If they were paid enough, most of them would not have been looking for home tuitions in the first place. Better schools mean more fees? People generally perceive the quality of education to the fees being charged. Glittering schools with lots of noise create confusion in parents, and they aim to send their kids to school with a fat, big fee structure. In reality, the quality of education will depend on the level of involvement of various stakeholders in teaching rather than the fees. The fees and the branding is just a facade you might find interesting. The real goal is the teaching methods used and commitment to the profession. In fact, I know some parents who do not send their kid to school and teach themselves at home. Their kids participate and win regular competitions. Covering it means teaching it. Some average teachers feel they have to simply cover the chapter in the class, which basically means that it has been taught. They rush through the pages of the book, stopping only to ask the student if they were able to follow her. Students meekly agree to the teachers, and the chapter gets taught. Covering a chapter in class is nowhere close to reaching it. The teachers should solve questions on board and ask students to solve some in homework. Then, they need to conduct small quizzes on the chapter, and then probably a revision in some of them. Then, it gets counted as taught. Some subjects are useless in real life. Like a good science student in my schooling days, I had complete disregard for a subject like social science. Languages, I felt they were not required for me, as I had decided to be a science student. However, now I understand that all subjects are important for us to learn and then decide what course to take after school ends. These subjects led to all-round personality development of students and should be studied meticulously. Probably, the interest level in these subjects needs to be raised through a better teaching model. There's only one good way to teach. There's no one size one-size-fits-all model for teaching. Every student has his own way of learning and understanding concepts. A teacher needs to understand how a student prefers to absorb the knowledge and thus teaching accordingly. How a student loves to learn should be left to the student with absolutely no interference from parents or teachers. Their personality decides on how to learn and absorb concepts in their mind. Misconceptions in education are a normal thing, and one should not get married to them. Instead, research or talk to an education expert for his opinion before formulating anything for kids. There are few of the misconceptions that I could think of. Maybe there's still others, especially at this time. Strands or subdisciplines of philosophy. As philosophy is a very wide discipline, it includes a huge variety of subdisciplines. These are the following. First, metaphysics. The main question of metaphysics is, what is reality like? Metaphysics studies the most basic concepts of reality, such as existence, time and space, cause and effect connections, ontology, which is the main part of metaphysics, studies general categories of being, substance, relation, quantity, and quality. Second, epistemology. Studies knowledge. It focuses on the problem of philosophical analysis of knowledge. True or false, belief and skepticism. The main topics of epistemology include philosophy of language, philosophy of mind, philosophy of religion, philosophy of human nature, metaphilosophy. Third, ethics. The main question of ethics is, what should I do? Ethics studies moral duty. The main purpose of ethics is the systematization of knowledge about good and evil, and the creation of concepts of moral life. Ethics as a subject consists of metaethics, which studies theoretical questions of ethics and moral, applied ethics, which works with specific problems in the area of moral, and normative ethics, which works on the creation of concepts of morality. Fourth, aesthetics. It studies art and beauty. Some people understand aesthetics as the philosophy of art. Modern aesthetics works with questions such as, what is art? What should be art like? What is the fundamental difference between beautiful and disgusting? Aesthetics is very connected with cultural studies. Last is logic. Studies cause-effect relationships and reasoning. Logic is the most mathematical part of philosophy, as it is used in mathematics, physics, and computer science. According to Tom Bodek, the difference between school and life. In school, you're taught a lesson and then given a test. In life, you're given a test that teaches you a lesson.